Our next guest speaker is David Simnick. David is an Eagle Scout from Troop 81 in Naperville and the co-founder of Soapbox Soaps, a mission-based personal care company. For every bar of soap they sell, Soapbox Soap donates a bar of soap to people in need. Since its founding in 2010, Soapbox Soaps has donated over 2 million bars of soap to people in over 30 different countries, including right here to the homeless shelters and the food pantries in the United States. Their products are currently sold nationwide in Target, Walmart, Meijer, select Walgreens, and various other retailers around the country. David was excited to have the chance to speak to you today on how scouting has helped prepare him for life. Ladies and gentlemen, David Simnick.
Good morning. It's a humbling honor to be here. I just can remember yesterday where I was about yay tall and trying to figure out if it was 2 fingers or 3. I want to go back to saying once again just how much of an honor it is to be here, because anyone a part of our team, we're headquartered in Washington, D.C., knows how hard I rep Boy Scouts. Anytime any intern comes in and says, I'm an Eagle Scout, I go, we're hiring that person. They're like, Dave, we haven't even interviewed him. I'm like, I just get it. You don't understand, but we have a whole handshake thing. And that's usually when they go, we don't like where you're going with this. And I'm like, all right, we're hiring the intern, done. So I want to start out first by explaining why, in fact, I am a bona fide traveling soap salesman. If you ever want someone to stop talking to you at a cocktail party, say you're a traveling soap salesman. It will immediately, they'll be like, look, there's punch. I'm like, there was punch, all right. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Soapbox. And what we do is for every single, oh, that's the slide gesture. I should have brought like a bar of soap and just thrown it. That would have. So what we do is every time someone buys one of our products, we donate a bar of soap to a local homeless shelter, food pantry, or through various different non-governmental actors through 30 different countries around the world. So long and short, why we do what we do is all about the mission. And it's all about the values that each member of our team hold near and dear. And, So why we started this is something as simple as a bar of soap and clean water can save about 800 children under the age of 5's lives every day. And when you look at preventable diseases, about 5 of the most common ones, 3 of them can actually be prevented through something as simple as that act. And for a lot of the scouts in here, you understand the importance of soap the moment that you walk out of a Kaibo and realize that you don't have any. It immediately goes, oh my. And how we started this is all based on the Scout law. I kid you not. The 2 co-founders, so myself and Eric, actually came from Troop 81. We were both Eagle Scouts. And growing up, we always said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we started an organization one day that gave back, that could make a huge impact in the world? So Eric and I literally, like in between doing other people's Eagle Scout service projects and hikes, preparing for Philmont, or getting ready for Sea Base, whatever it is, we always said, wouldn't it be amazing if we one day do this? And that's exactly what we did. So this is something called the Hope Code on the previous slide. I'm really bad at this, I apologize. And what it allows people to do is actually put in a code that is unique to each one of our products, and they can go to our website and see exactly where that other one-for-one went. And the reason we do that is because we believe that we're much more than just a personal care company. We believe that we're trying to change the way that people view something as simple as a bar of soap. Look, anyone can go out and buy Dove. But if we sell a better product at the same price, then why not make a difference while doing that? And that's the essence that we learned through scouting, is that you can go to work, you can do what you need to do, you can provide for your family, but at the same time, you can give back to a community and help guide another person's child to be a great man. So finally, next slide. So when Eric and I had this idea, and this was back in 2010, and I was working for the United States Agency for International Development in Washington, D.C., so a lot of my background was actually being a subcontractor on water, sanitation, and hygiene projects. Hence, the inspiration kind of came together. I called Eric in December 2009, and I said, we're going to start a soap company. And he said, what? You got to be, like, have you been watching too much Fight Club? Like, what's, really? Seriously? We got to start a soap club? Like, why are we doing this? So I Googled how to make soap, and I started making it in my kitchen. And if any of you have ever seen the TV series Breaking Bad, my landlord thought I was up to other things. So there were like landlord surprise visits, like drastically went up. He was like, I'm just checking the lighting. Still soap. And I was like, once again, 1-for-1 personal care company, not meth. Thank you. So we started with the humblest origins, and I can't say this enough. Thank you, Mom, for not thinking I was crazy. So if you see her on the way out, just be like, wow, you have a lot of belief in your son, because at this time, everyone thought I was nuts. And it was through begging, pleading, calling, emailing, and living the Scout law of being brave, of showing up every day at this one Whole Foods, to the point where they started like thinking about calling security on me, because they're like, oh no, Soap Man's back. And I just kept showing up until eventually they're like, look, we get it. We'll let you have one chance to sell your products in our store. Just one chance. And if it sells well, great. And I literally, day in and day out, was the creepy guy in the aisle that would talk to people trying to convince them to buy our wares. And thankfully it worked. So these were the original co-founders of Soapbox. That's Eric, my fellow Eagle Scout in Troop 81, on the opposite side of me. That's Dan, my co-founder, and that's Stephanie as well. And at the very beginning of our company, we said, we want to institute the principles of the Scout law through the fibers of what we're doing. So through begging, pleading, calling, emailing, we got a chance. We did so well at this one store that we went from 1 store to 8 stores, and 8 stores to a whole region, and we've grown a lot. And we have a long way to go. And we still might fail. But I believe that scouting teaches you one thing over and over and over again, and that is, no matter how many times you burn yourself on the fire, no matter how many times you mess up the meal plan, no matter how many times you forget the coffee pot and get shaken awake by a youth leader, that happened. Quartermaster, 1999, I got woken up by a Mr. Powell, who is our assistant scoutmaster, and he goes, Dave, I go, Mr. Powell, it is 4 a.m. He goes, I don't care what time it is. Scouts are supposed to be prepared. Do we or do we not have the coffee pot in the trailer, Mr. Quartermaster? And I went, I don't know. He goes, we're going to town. Be prepared. In my opinion, scouting is one of the best things a young man can do with his life. And this can be seen by elderly gentlemen who continue to keep their Eagle Award on their resume long after anything under the age of 30 was wiped off. I see this time and time again, where the early investors who invested in our company looked at me and said, Dave, I don't know if this is going to work, but you're an Eagle Scout and I'm an Eagle Scout, and I know that you're going to try every last thing before you let this fail. Scouting allows young men to fail. Scouting-led troops allows them to go through the trials and tribulations it takes to build that character, to learn to never give up. And I wanted to show this slide because this illustrates it. This is me getting my orientation merit badge. This is me lost. My assistant scoutmaster, a guy named John Smith, had so much patience. He would stay quiet. I would go up to him and I would say, is this right? And he would go, no. I'm like, can you help me? No. Well, can you point me in the right direction? He goes, Dave, you're getting the merit badge. I already got this one. And it happened time and time again. And every time that my troop would allow young men, scouts, without hurting themselves or burning down the campsite, caveat, to fail, they allowed that young man to realize that failure is a part of leadership. To fail is not actually failing. To give up is. And that being this young scout and allowing them to fail makes them into a young man. I want to show this other slide. This is me shaking hands at the Eagle ceremony after I got my Eagle Award. And I think one of the biggest things that I heard time and time again that Scouts does so well is it teaches young men to shake a man in the eyes, or woman, and say, I'm going to make a commitment or a promise, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And you learn those skills because you make the commitments when you're a scout or first class or life, and you fail. And you pick yourself up and you get guided along by assistant scoutmasters and scoutmasters who say, you made this promise, you didn't live up to it, try again. And I want to show this last slide because I believe that everyone's on their own trail. Life is one big trail, and it winds and weaves. And I had the pleasure of going to my high school reunion on Friday, and everyone looked at me and said, oh my God, Dave, like, who would have thought you would have been a traveling soap salesman? I'm like, that makes two of us. And I got a lot of praise, and people said, you know, wow, you have such blah, 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 lots of ego boosting and that type of stuff. And I reminded everyone that I still might fail. And they're like, no, you can't. And I'm like, yes, it can. But once again, failing is not failure. Giving up is. Scouting has taught me time and time again that you gotta pick yourself up. You gotta keep on trying to do the hard things, the hard work every day. And when you shake a man, a woman, a dog's hand, you make a commitment and you stick by it. The only way I can think about ending this speech is by pledging something that I live by every day, and that's the Scout Law. Every single one of these words matter to me. Every single one of these words are the bedrock of what we do at Soapbox and the culture that we've set up our company and how we treat our employees, our vendors, and our customers. And that is, a scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. We like to emphasize clean because we're a personal care company. I hope you can live by these laws too. Most importantly, for those in the room who want to see one of millions of examples of what scouting can do for a young man, I hope I can be an example of that. And I hope that you can support the amazing work that this institution did for me and for countless other young men. Thank you.